Well, hello, you beautiful steppers out there. How y'all doing? Now check this out. Today we're going to talk about two things, and they center around one main thing. Now that one main thing is trust, right? So today we're going to discuss, can you trust your team members? Can you trust your team members? When you're building a team, you have to be able to trust the people that you're, sharing information with, right? So the two things we're going to discuss is, for one, can you trust them to do what they say they're going to do? And then for number two, can you trust that they cannot or they won't screw you over with this valuable information and tips and tricks and everything that you're showing them how to do, right? Now the first thing, can you trust them to do what they say they're going to do? Now, what I'm going to discuss is actually how to make sure you can trust them. Because something I personally believe in is that if you're having trust issues with anybody, no matter who it is, then it ultimately means that you don't trust yourself. You don't trust yourself to make the decision that this person, whoever this person is, whatever the relationship is good for you and your life experience. So I personally believe, again, if you feel like you can't trust people, then you're not trusting yourself, right? Because if you can't trust them, then why not just remove them out your life, right? Simple as that. Now, this being said, guys, let's focus on how when it comes to these team members, right? Now, when it comes to building a team, if you cannot trust your team members to do what they say they're going to do, then that's not going to look good for both of you guys. So the way you can trust to do what they say they're going to do is, for one, making sure that you put in an action plan in place, right? So you take them through training, you put an action plan in place, whatever their role is for your business, you make sure you put that action plan in place and you take them through the action plan to see if they are able to actually fulfill it, right? So then once they get to fulfilling that action plan, whatever they are doing, then you set them free to do what they say they're going to do. Now that to me is pretty simple, right? So basically you train them to do what you need them or want them to do in your business, whatever their role is. And then after that, they carry it through, and then you just monitor over to make sure that they're continuing on with the process that you've already showed them, all right? Now that's number one. It's really simple and straight. But number two is really gets interesting, okay? Now, number two is huge, guys. In my personal opinion, number two is the only way you really can build a team, in my personal opinion, right? Now, I've had my doings with, having team members and having people that I viewed as team members, and whatever, so far, thus far, I'm still in the position where I'm searching for team members and putting the team in place. This is why we discuss and having this conversation. Now, one thing I wanted you guys to keep in mind, though, is that when you're building this team, no matter even after they've showed and displayed that they can do what you've already asked of them, after they showed that, that's one thing, that's great. But still, that does not mean that you can trust them, guys. And that's just the reality of the situation. So what is the caveat? What is the thing that, you can do to make sure that you can trust them? That's, you only tell the team member about what role that they are doing. Let me unpack what I mean. So say you have somebody that's cold calling, right? And this is an example because this is how I view what needs to happen, right? So you have somebody that's cold calling. Now, depending on how you have that person set up, right? Whether they are, and go back to episode 1, but whether they're on an equity split, a salary, or their work for hire situation. Either way, even with all three of those, you want to make sure that they don't know how to do everything by themselves, right? Like, at least they don't find it out from you. And that's just the reality of it. You don't want them to know how to do everything by themselves. You don't want them to know how to go from point A to finding the lead, right? Calling the lead, skip tracing, and then go all the way to point B or Z to selling the property. So what you do is you stick to them to one role. So say you have a cold caller. Now this cold caller, they're calling for you, hello, this is Jungle Properties, da 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 da, like, if you sell your property, blah blah blah, right? What you want them to say is simply, hi, this is Jungle Properties, are you interested in selling your property? Yes, no. They say yes. Okay, what time works best to have my acquisitions manager, my purchase manager, whatever you want to say, give you a call back? This reason, and look, think about it, guys. Your acquisitions manager, that can be you. Your purchase manager, that can be you, or you can actually have an acquisitions manager in place. But either way, the reason why is that when they call, all you want them to do is get the yes or the no. This means that when you step in and follow up, you do the dirty work. You do the work that actually get the contract in place, right? So you actually send the contract. You actually do everything that needs to be done to actually get the money back to the team, right? This being said, you have to be able to piece it out. Piece it out. So say you got somebody that's taking pictures of a property. Give you another example. Say you got somebody that's taking pictures of the property. Say this person is not an actual team member. They're a work for hire situation. Say that they're a contractor, whatever it may be, right? You found them on Craigslist. They're going to take pictures of the property for you. You don't tell this person how much you got the property for. All you do is tell them to take pictures of the property. Simple as that. You don't tell them how much work is need to be done for the property. You don't tell them what needs to be done to the property, how much they're paying in rent. No information about the actual deal itself. Only, hey, this is how you take pictures. I like video like this. I want you to talk a little bit, don't talk a little bit, say a little bit, say this, don't say a little bit in the video, whatever you need them to do in the video. You make them become the best videographer ever, right? The best person taking pictures of property ever. You gotta excuse me, there's a little dog swimming back there. This is a little dog thing back there. They're all swimming. I think this place is really cool. I'm excited to get a dog. That way I can take them here. But anyway, back on track. Guys, this is huge. That's huge when you really think about it, right? Because it's so easy. It's really easy. If you're talking to your contractor, if you're talking to your whoever you're talking to, whoever's taking pictures of you, right? Taking pictures of the property for you. You're talking to them like, yeah, I just got this property for $50,000. Make sure it look good and da 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 da. If this contractor is a work for hire situation, right? This contractor, you talking to him on the phone, never met him in person, no type of personal interaction. They just take pictures of properties for you and they send the pictures back or they send the videos back. They're a work for hire, right? This being said, they can probably work for hire for anybody else. So maybe they say, hey, I can pay $55 for this. I just had somebody else who I worked on a property, they paid $70,000 for this exact same property. So yeah, you got it at 50, okay, maybe I'll slip the owner my card. Hey, if things don't work out with, you know, the company here, Jungle Properties, if things don't work out with your company, hit me up. I might be able to help you out. You would never know. You would never know that happened, especially if you are not the person going in there taking pictures. You don't do boots on the ground. You hire people for those. You're not even in the same city. You would never know. So to mitigate that risk, to take it away completely, simply when you speak with that contractor, you tell him, hey, yeah, I need videos of this, videos of this. There may be something in the foundation. Take a close-up of that. You know, do a narration a little bit. You tell them how to be the best videographer. You don't tell them about the deal, right? So that's one example. Now say you have an acquisitions manager. So your acquisitions manager is going to be the person, remember I said in the beginning, right? And this is different size of literally one deal. So say you got an acquisitions manager. Your acquisitions manager is going to be the person that's maybe following up, right? Then maybe they're the ones following up, talking about, you know, hey, you spoke with our team member, you know, I don't know, Sarah. You spoke with our team member Sarah earlier. Whoever it is, right? And they said you were interested in selling the property, so we're just following up to see if you are interested, you know, or whatever it is. So that being said, you as the acquisitions manager, you want the acquisitions manager ideally to get the deal under contract, right? You want your acquisition manager to be able to get the deal under contract, which means that they are able to make an offer on the property. They know how to pull comps on the property, right? Or maybe you the one who pull comps. That's another way you can separate them, right? But let's just say your acquisition manager, because again, you want to be a independent team. Check out last episode for that. Your team, the success of your team should never depend on you. So if you have an acquisition manager in place, my idea of acquisition manager, they are able to almost pull comps and maybe be like, hey, if they really need help, they're like, hey, you know, D, do these comps look right? S2, these comps look right? Whatever they want to say. That's being said though, with them looking at the comps and they're able to make an offer and even send the property out. To me, that is perfect, right? You have your cold caller who says yes or no. You have your acquisition manager who's able to, you know, you've already trained them how to, ideally probably train them to how to pull comps, how to send a contract, all these little things, right? So now they know how to do all of that, right? And then you got the property under contract, you looked at the videos and all that stuff, right, from your contractor. This being said, now you have the property under contract. You give the information to your contractor, now you're looking at the pictures and videos that your contractor just sent you. Now you're like, okay, this property is a great deal at $50,000. I'm happy I got it at $50,000, right? Now what's gonna happen? Instead of you going to your acquisitions manager and saying, hey, sell this property for me, at this point, your acquisition manager might as well have their own business, right? If they are able to sell the property for you, then they might as well have their own business. So what needs to happen after your acquisition manager send the contract out, get the property under contract, you know what I'm saying, do the offer, all the little stuff, right? After that's done, you're reviewing these pictures, and now you're going to be the one putting the text message together, the email together, or whatever it is, and then you send that email, text message out to your buyers list, right? Check this out. That's only if you are what's called the disposition manager, right? The dispositions manager is the person that, you know, they dispose of things, right? Disposition. So they dispose, the acquisition is acquired, right? The acquisition manager is acquiring the deal, right? They're acquiring it from the cold caller who initially called and said, yes, they want to sell. So now your acquisition manager acquired the deal for you. You got the pictures from the contractor, and now you need to dispose of the deal. You need to sell this deal. So you can sell it, but again, we're building a team so we can run a fully functional, operational business without us involved. This being said, we're going to want another person. We want another person that's specifically a disposition. Now our disposition person is going to be the person that hits up the buyer's list. They're going to be the one that says, hey, we just got a deal on 123 Main Street. It's a 3-bed, 2-bath, 1,500 square feet. The tenant is paying $900 a month. They're on a month-to-month. Here's a link to the pictures and videos. They show pictures and videos, and then you got another space. You know, you can, if you want to, say the property needs approximately 20 or 30,000, whatever it needs, right? If you want to, oftentimes you can leave it out, let the buyer do their own due diligence, unless you feel like you should, unless you actually got a clear idea, then do it. But if you don't have a clear idea, then leave that out. But this being said, though, then you say, we're asking, you know, let's say you got it at 50, we're asking 65, and the ARV is 145, right? That's a great deal, by the way. So this being said, that right there is a great deal, and it'd be a great rental. But this being said, your dispositions manager is the one that's sending that out. Your disposition manager is the one that's sending that out to all your buyers, right? All your buyers, they're sending it out, right? And now this is how you do this, because if you recognize the video that I just released when it comes to it's business, never personal, I speak about it, and you click that link up there or watch it in the description. But in that video, guys, I talk to you about how buyers try to become friendly with you when you have a good deal, right? The reason why I was able to make that video is because it was 3 years of me really kind of being in my feelings of like, damn, like I thought we were actually friends. Like, nah, you ain't got no friends in this business. It's the reality of it. It's a business. This being said, though, when it comes to you actually sending these deals out, now you have a system in place where you're not actually texting these buyers from your personal number, from your personal Google Voice. You're not doing any personal interaction. It's an actual business. So now this disposition manager who just sent all this information out, guys, now what can happen is you have, you know, some type of system in place, whether it's your email system, whether it's a text message, you know, see how to get 12 numbers with one phone, actually. You click the link in the description. But whether it's a cell phone number specific to only buyers, or whether it's a actual, maybe an app or something you have in place, right? Either way, now it's a hands-off. So these buyers are now responding and saying, yeah, I do want to buy this deal, right? Maybe they're able to put in offers. Yeah, 60, 65, whatever, blah, 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 blah. Maybe you have to align an actual open house. Faithfully, guys, you are seeing the separate part. These are like spider legs, right? You're the body of the spider. Then you got all these different legs, right? That connects to the body of the spider. This is how you have to think about it. Because now your dispositions manager, they just sent out this, you know, list of the properties. So now you got all these buyers, I'm interested. So guess what happens next? Your acquisitions manager, depending on the deal setup, right? You ideally would like to have your acquisitions manager set up an open house, you know, for your buyers to see the property. For them, your acquisition manager is there to play interference, right? To show the property, maybe they gotta, you know, show the tenant, move the tenant to the side, whatever it may be, right? This being said, guys, don't you see the difference between everything? Everything is completely different. And ideally, you're able to trust this acquisitions manager. Your acquisition manager is ideally someone that should be on a salary or an equity split. This way, they feel like they're a part of your team. Your cold caller should be somebody, ideally, the way I look at it now, like I've changed my viewpoint on it now, but work for hire situation is with your cold caller. That way they're just saying yes or no all day, right? They ain't caring this. Hello, yes, you want to sell? Okay, yes, no, no, whatever. Set appointment. Your acquisition manager has less of an incentive to screw you over, even when they got the buyers coming in, because now you're the person giving them a cut of the slice, whatever, a cut of the pie. Maybe you're giving them $45,000 a year plus 10% commission. They got $45,000 guaranteed coming in their pocket. Then they got 10% commission. So that means if it's a $5,000 deal, they're getting $500. Whereas if it's a $10,000 deal, they're getting $1,000. Why would they mess that up? They're not eating like you. They're not hungry like you. That's what you got to realize. You want to get an acquisition manager, ideally, guys, ideally. Because if you get somebody that's too young, they may be too ambitious. Then they're going to try to screw you over. They're too ambitious, guys. They're getting these buyers. They're seeing buyers. They're like, okay, I'm going to collect buyers. That's just what's going to happen. And not even screw you over, but they're going to try to grow in their own sense. You got to realize the difference between screwing somebody over and just wanting to grow. You're going to want to grow. So if you get somebody too young and you got them on a position where they are even an equity split, because now equity split means that they don't get paid until you get paid. So that means that they don't get paid till the deal goes all the way through. So they're actually self-motivated. If they are self-motivated, they're going to want to grow beyond you, ideally. But if they're on a salary, their mindset is different, guys. They don't have the same hunger as you. They're not built like you. If they're on a salary, $45,000, they need to know money's coming in guaranteed. That's cool. It's good, because now it gives you a little bit of peace of mind. And then they got 10%. The 10% is to incentivize them to be the best salesperson that they can be when it comes to providing a customer experience, making sure that your buyers have a proper customer experience, make sure the sellers have a proper customer experience, make sure they're properly communicating with you. And then your dispositions manager, ideally, you want to have them on either a salary or equity. And your dispositions manager, I personally believe that it's even more like you're even more able to have them on an equity split, right? Because now all they're really doing is selling the property. So this means that it's already under contract with your LLC or your person, right? You already got the property under contract. So now all they're doing is just sending the deal out to all these different buyers, which means that your dispositions manager is not putting in the dirty work on the phone. They're not out there calling. They ain't hungry like that. Because if they were hungry like that, they know that they would do it. They would get more of the pie. As simple as that, guys. And like I say it's simple because like this is the stage I'm in life. You know, it's the buffering of time. I have this stuff so planned out in my mind, and I know for a fact like it's going to catch up. It's going to catch up. What I do daily has to make it catch up. And me being able to express it to you guys, it's going to be a beautiful thing looking back and when everything has come to fruition, and faithfully it's come to fruition for you as well as we're going through this. We're growing together, all right? Now, I just covered everything that needs to be covered when it comes to how to make sure you can actually trust them, guys. And faithfully, you realize the running theme here. You can't trust any of them. That sounds kind of messed up. Listen, it's human nature, guys. When money's involved, you can only trust people so much. People will act in their best interest. That's just the reality of it. People will always act in their best interest. So you, as a leader of your team, you have to put them in position where they are less tempted to actually, you know, mess you over. Who want to mess somebody over where they got deals coming in and they selling it off and they getting 30% or 20% just for sending text messages? 15% just for sending text messages all day, sending emails all day. Who want to mess somebody over when you're getting paid, you know, guaranteed, depending on who they are or where they're at, but $10 an hour, $8 an hour for making cold calls, depending on where they're at, guaranteed, you know. Maybe overseas somewhere, you know, $8 an hour, making cold calls where, you know, all they got to do is say yes or no, hang up, yes or no. They get paid either way. Who would want to mess it up when they got a guaranteed $45,000, $50,000 coming in every year on top of a 10% commission just from following up with leads and going out to assist with a walkthrough sometimes? And now I think about it, maybe you want your contractor to actually do the walkthrough, because then your acquisition manager won't even come in contract with the buyers. And this is actually better because I like that better. See, notes for myself right now. I like for your contractor to actually be the one that's coming and doing an open house. The reason why you want your contractor to do an open house, now that I really think about it, like I said, you want to put your acquisition manager in the best position possible to not want to screw you over. For them to not be like, ooh, I could just get a buyer and I could start collecting these deals on the back. You don't even want them to think like that, right? So the way you take that temptation out of their mind is that you're able to have an acquisition manager that simply, they actually could do this from home. And they're just following up with people. They don't even have to be in the same city. Your boots on the ground, your contractor, needs to know the least amount of information, but they're also going to be very important to you because they're the ones that's out there going and making the connections, right? They're your face. They're the face, ideally, of the business because they're actually on the ground. Depending on if your acquisition manager is in the same city or not, and depending on how polished your acquisitions manager and the contractor is, they'll be the quote-unquote face. So this being said, if you have buyers coming around for the disposition side, then your freaking contractor will be the one that says, hey, this is the property. Yeah, this is what I took a picture of in a video. This is that, this is that, this is that, this is that. If you have any, you know, questions, be sure to contact dispositions manager. Not acquisitions. They don't even need to know about your acquisitions. Contact disposition manager. right? Because now your dispositions manager will come to you and say, hey, S2, hey, you know, D, this is what happened. This buyer put in 60 offer. This buyer said, you know, 58. This buyer said 65. Then this buyer said 70. What we gonna do? But he can close in 2 weeks. He can close in 3 weeks. He can close in 1 week. How you wanna work this out, D? I'm like, hey, let's, all right, I like the fact 70. He said he can close in, what, 2.5 weeks? All right, that's cool, 70. Bang, make that happen. Then your disposition manager, what happens? They send out the assignment or the purchase agreement, depending on if it's a double close or an assignment. And then that's the deal. Your dispositions manager will also have a relationship with your title company. So then your disposition manager will send out that information to your title company. And guys, this is how you make a trustworthy team. And ideally, it's you being able to not put your team in a position to want to screw you over. When money get involved, relationships get weird, right? So this being said, if you got somebody on a, you know, a salary split, they're not thinking like an owner. If you got somebody on an equity split, but they're not ready to put in the work to get the deal under contract, and then you got somebody taking pictures of the property, but they don't have a clue about the details of the deal itself, you winning, baby. That's a team right there. Hey, until next time, man, build that team. As always, get to stepping. And guys, I'm so excited because of a huge change is coming. Huge change is coming with things that I can't control. Things that we can control, right? So make sure you guys stick with the channel. A lot of big things coming. And if nothing else, man, get to stepping.